Got the trailer hooked up. It's clear to tell something's going on. Y'all see. Stay tuned. Well, this might be the end for old girl. Pretty rowdy. Got the old truck loaded down on the new truck. And I park right here because I come off this hill, make it easier to, what I thought was going to be easier to get this truck on there, but y'all seen I tore the grass up over here. Man, come on. Only in one spot though. Well, so last night I went ahead and traded that Silverado for a side-by-side. It's all right, but y'all know me, I don't think I'll have this long neither. So, tires got a little bit of tread on them. Ready for sale. So I just got home. Floor mats have arrived for the Dodge. Razor sitting there. Horsefly flying around my head. I'm gonna throw these in there real quick. So I got the floor mats in on both sides and here in the back. Now these little boogers here, these things were a bear to get in there. Man, I fought it for more time than I probably should have, but she's in there now. Probably ought to hook this back on the seat. It kind of hits my legs sometimes and it's annoying. And this pops up a little bit, but. So I've been phoned in to work on this gym. It's pretty nice now. No door handles. Pretty trick. But got a fuel leak. So it's been sitting for a while. Probably got some bad fuel in it too. Left this door open for me. Pretty jam up job they did. Thing's real nice. I'm not a big fan of the tune port. They got tune port. Might be a 350 or a 305 in here. I'm not real sure. But I don't like them. So I don't like any of the 350s. I think 305s have the same exhaust coming out like that. Not a fan of them. So I'm jacking it up, get it on some stands, and I'm gonna go ahead and start looking at this fuel leak. Okay, let me go ahead and apologize ahead. Lighting might not be too good, but we got the old flashlight, and I'll show you what I have found to be causing this is a fuel leak. Let me get under this thing. I mean, there's a few things leaking on this car. Transmission, front main seal. I don't know what's leaking on trans, but something's pouring out of it somewhere. But looks like just a pan seal. Here you can see. Right. Yeah, we got fluid on the bolts and stuff, so it's probably just a pan seal. But not what I'm here for. Get adjusted back in here. Okay, so up here, you got these fuel lines. And that hose clamp's right in the way. Hang on now. Daggone Adele clamp sitting there. Let me get this moved over here. That's what it looks like to me. I can see that clear as day. The flashlight don't really help, but you see that fuel glistening on that line right there? That's where the fuel's leaking from. So I cycled the pump a bunch. That line wasn't saturated. I cycled the pump about 5 times. And then this line started glistening black like that. You can see how it's definitely, the light don't help. It really don't. But this line's leaking, so I'll snatch it out of here real quick. That way we can get a new line made for her, and we'll get her hopefully to bark to life. Look at them black witters. All them eggs up under there. Fella gotta work around that. So folks, I got cobwebs up in my beard. We got this dusty Chevy here. Had a lot of garage time now. It's been sitting here for a while. Well, I don't remember what he said, but it's been sitting here for quite a time now. But we'll come down here. Man, this thing needs a bath. Let me tell you, it's filthy. But I went ahead and I got the exhaust hanging down low. I got the exhaust on the other side as well. You can't see it because of this jack. Both sides, I got them dropped down now. And I've got this jack here supporting that fuel cell. And I've got one bolt out of it. And I think I got about 4 threads left on the other bolt. And then I'll be able to drop this tank down enough to get the fuel line out. I don't know when this whole build was done, but I was just asked to come take a look at it, pull it out, and get it so he could get a new fuel line. I'll put everything back together. So now if you come over here into the trunk, and you pop this cavity up, like that, and you get in here, there's where the fuel is for fueling it up, and then your brake reservoirs, they're right here. So I took the filler neck off, and the vent tube, dropped the tank out. Now I got the tank sitting down here. Now unplug those 2 plugs. That's for your fuel gauge. And the ground, that black wire running up right there. Okay, now I gotta take that blue fitting off, that AN fitting right there on that top plate of that fuel cell to that fuel line. Take that off, but that's what's leaking. It's leaking back here and right before the pump. So I'll snatch that out. And now, you can see I got that fuel cell out of there. Disconnected all the cables and the 2 fuel lines and the filler neck. So you got your return and your fuel feed off of this AN fitting here. So got that one removed, got that fuel vent removed. Or it's not a vent, but it's return. That's plugged off. And then you got your filler neck with a vent on it as well. So went ahead and removed it. The ground here was, it's kind of Mickey Mouse. They had it sandwiched in between a bolt, so I just took that off. And these, they had at least connectors on it, so one female end, one male end, or that's vice versa. That's the male one, that's the female one, and it's the same on a car. So this connector goes into that on the car, vice versa. It's just flip-flopped. So you just do that, big deal, you're done with. Fuel smells rancid, so telling him he needs to get this thing cleaned. Now you can see clear as day. Fuel focus. You can still see it. Line pretty deteriorated right there behind the fitting. And then almost every one of these twists right there in that little bend section right there, they're all separated and the fuel's leaking out of that as well. So we'll go ahead and call it a day for him, and he can go get this fuel line made. Now it won't start because I got all that fuel stuff disconnected, but here's the dash on her. And I threw my battery and it took his out. Let's see if the battery was a weak link. Seems like it. Say his battery, it wouldn't do nothing. Water temp 113, 112. We got 99% fuel. 11.9 voltage. Not bad. The old cart here. Pull the old motor off. I had something in the works. So we'll see how this thing works. Hopefully it's not a waste. But so right now sometimes this cart doesn't go over some bumps and stuff. Granted, it's an old model. 95 36 volt. And I got this thing for so dang cheap. I said, heck, I'll throw a motor in it. And if that don't work, then I'll pull the motor off, sell the motor, and then put a motor back in the cart, and then I'll just sell this cart and get something different. It's got fresh upholstery, tires, lift, new batteries. You know, I think it was a decent deal for what I got it for. But we'll see if that motor helps out at all. There's that old motor. Very light compared to this thing. Goodness, that thing is no joke putting that in here. Minimal clearance. You have to fight it. Here's my labeling. Right rear. Pretty simple, pretty basic. Being very redundant. Both motors are marked and annotated as to what's what. S1, S2, A1, A2. But didn't want to run the risk, so we just got it all marked up. I say we'll throw this battery cable on. I only got a couple cables left to change on this thing after I've already changed some. All the cables leaving the battery I got to change, but I'm out of connectors, so I got to go get some more connectors, and then I'll rerun the rest of the wires, and everything will be done up 2-gauge welding wire.